so long since we've done this.
We were competition dance partners, and that's how we met. But I've known him in the dance world, in the circuit, if you will, since I was about 5. Hi, my name is Amanda Moore, and this is my husband, Christopher Moore.
And we started Reigning Grace Ranch. Reigning Grace Ranch is a place of hope and discovery for people who find themselves looking for something that's missing in their life. We tend to be the place where they get unstuck.
We have all walks of life that come through the ranch. We have ages 5 to 95 at Reigning Grace. Our primary focus is children, but it's moved into families and first responders.
There's 4 aspects of how people engage at Reigning Grace Ranch. One of them is all things around the horses. So we're gonna call them equine therapy. So if you're in a horseback riding lesson, we're not teaching you about how to sit on the horse and hang on. We're teaching you about being present. But we also have another area where to run this ranch, we have a number of individuals that head up the whole ministry of maintaining all the plants. And we have people that just love to come out and trim things and make it look the way it does. And then the vetting of the horses.
We have adults and kids in both our vetting programs. They all learn basic veterinarian skills. It's ranch life. You know, what we've done is we said, okay, how can we utilize what this place organically creates and teach life skill in that?
This is Arizona Business Today. We share stories of entrepreneurial success, challenges, and community engagement. This episode, you'll get insights and advice from businesses focused on community here in Arizona. Today, we'll get an inside look at Reigning Grace Ranch, an Arizona nonprofit that rescues horses and helps children and families with equine therapy programs. Arizona Business Today, a National Bank of Arizona production.
This is Sherry.
This is Sherry.
My lashes are missing, so.
I can pull up nothing crazy.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That never changes. I don't know what you need to do with this. As unique as this experience might be, it's more of the connectivity.
Right?
Shut the fuck We had another one? What?
Howdy. Mark, Christopher Moore. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Mark. Nice to meet you.
Sit down.
Great couple.
We're in ranch gear. That's what we're doing. We're just talking about ranch gear.
I want to thank everyone for joining us at Arizona Business Today. I'm joined by Amanda and Chris Moore, the founders of Reigning Grace Ranch in Rio Verde, Arizona. Welcome, Amanda and Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about Reigning Grace Ranch. How did it get started? What's the passion behind it?
Oh my goodness. How it got started was Christopher and I were having some struggles in our marriage, and we decided to have get involved with something that we could have in common. So we bought 2 horses and started working with that, something that we could do together but separate and have a hobby together.
I think what it came down to was everything in life that was important to us was about what people thought about us and how successful we were going to be. And it had so much to do with stuff that was like chocolate bunnies. It was, looked great from the outside, but when you bit into the middle of it, it was always empty. And so at some point, Amanda came to work for me in our IT company, and I started treating her like an employee. Sir, do not do that.
Yeah, that worked well.
That was a bad deal. And so when my wife no longer wanted to be around me, and she was my best friend, I realized that I'd messed this thing up. And so I needed to find something we could do together. And so we got horses. That's what we had as kids.
And so we took our 2 horses out to Rio Verde, moved into this house, and then quickly there was a herd of wild horses, and I threw hay over the fence because I couldn't bear to feed ours and not them. And that was a bad decision because the next night they told 7 more of their friends.
Right, yeah.
Right? So
Mary and Susie went and said, hey, the Moors are feeding at 5.
Yeah, right.
And it turned into a lot more horses. Yeah. And one of them got hit out on the road. And there was a bad accident. It was a tragedy all the way around.
Yeah.
And Scottsdale said, hey, these horses have got to go. There's nobody really managing them. They were a wild herd.
I said, hey, Chris, What are your thoughts of going and rounding up all of these horses and finding a local rancher in the area that would let us house them while we adopted them out, and we could find some other rescues to help us do this? And,
Yeah,
and of course,
except-
and he's like, sure, let's do that. I took for granted that horses don't come halter trained, right?
We were two city slickers.
We were two city
honestly.
slickers
Yeah.
on our Tennessee walking horses
Yeah.
out there in the brush.
Oh my gosh.
In that process, the neighborhood kids had known about what was going on because these horses would always be in their yards. I mean, they were everywhere. And so the kids started coming after school to help me feed and water these horses. And in the process of that, these kids started telling me about all of the things that were going on in their lives that was not super positive, like being bullied and eating disorder, and my parents are getting a divorce, and just on and on.
So what led you to starting up the nonprofit to serve kids?
So what started us to start this nonprofit was a dream I had, and I was told that we were supposed to start a ranch called Reigning Grace Ranch, and it was exactly how it was to be spelled, and the whole nine. And we were supposed to take these rescued and broken horses and pair them with rescued and broken children, and so that they could heal together.
I look back though, part of the journey was, we were still learning about horses. We knew stuff, but we were learning that there was things that we didn't know. And we'd asked somebody to partner with us because we were considering, how do we structure this organization? We're business owners. This is a for-profit. We're going to just do a great discount. Is it a for-profit for good? And they're like, no, man, it's a nonprofit.
Yeah.
You shouldn't own this. And so that was the beginning of kind of building the framework for what we believed. We'll call it affirmation, a confirmation of this is the right direction to go.
Which is great. And you have kind of two missions. You're not just helping kids, you're rescuing horses. And where are you sourcing these animals?
Oh,
So the horses come from all over. They are owner surrenders. They are owners that have passed away. We work with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department. So we get horses that way. Those are the primary.
there is no
Ways.
shortages of horses,
Oh, no.
sir.
I'm not surprised. They eat a lot.
They
They eat a lot, yes.
It's,
and hay prices are going up.
They
They're
are.
expensive right now.
mostly stuff comes in the front end and goes out the back end.
Uh-huh.
But they
Typical
are.
processing line.
When it comes to working with kids, horses are very therapeutic. And what we knew to be true, we just couldn't explain it. Today we understand what's happening in a horse and why.
Come on, Mr. Hercules. You want to come out? So Hercules is a Missouri Foxtrotter. And we do some grooming. We groom all the horses in the program when the kids are out here, our volunteers and the kids. We groom the horses because it is actually a bonding activity. Just this in and of itself is therapeutic. Generally speaking, the reason why they're so therapeutic is when we're out here, our heartbeats start to match theirs and we calm down. And we talk about horsenalities. We have so many horses out at Reigning Grace Ranch, and every single one of them have a personality. There's not one horse that is the same. And so when the kids come out to visit the ranch, the horse that's most like their personality will be attracted to them. So if you have a horse that's high energy and has a hard time focusing, they tend to pick out the kids that are very similar to them. And then if you got a horse that's pretty chill, doesn't like a lot of extra hoopla, they will tend to gravitate to the kids that are pretty chill and quiet as well. The number of kids that come through the gates at Reigning Grace Ranch for the last 11 years, I would say, would be probably somewhere between 15 and 20,000 kids.
When we started out the ranch, we wanted to help single moms with children to keep the wheels from coming off the bus. Well, we've quickly realized that that's one aspect of the ranch. But our volunteers that come to work with these horses, you spend as much time with them. I heard somebody talking earlier today when I said, hey, where's Amanda? I need to talk to her real quick. And they said, Amanda just left to go talk to one of our volunteers because she had some stuff going on. That's what we do at the ranch.
With our kids, we try to say we go an inch wide and a mile deep. We do life with them. That's been really important for us. And we do the same programming with our volunteers, with our first responders, with our families. It's quite incredible. We're gonna go ahead and get started. started. We have a lot planned for you guys today. And on any given Friday, Misty may be leading the session. I might be leading it. Brad might be leading it. Anyway, today Sage is leading.
So how many of you have worked with any horses before? 3. Now how about chickens? Goats?
I love helping these kids. The transformations you see are just out of this world. Our therapists on staff will always tell you that what you can do in 3 equine sessions takes 2 years as a on-the-couch therapy session. And the moments for these kids when something clicks or they get something and it finally makes sense is really powerful.
Sage is my right hand. She is my administrator. She does social media for us and she does all vet teching. Misty runs all the children's programming, so she oversees all of that, the training of mentors that goes into working with the kids. Then Brad, he oversees permaculture and he is also a mentor at the ranch. All of us have to mentor at the ranch. We are a tight-knit group. We have to be because there's not very many of us and we all wear multiple hats.
So we use the horses as a tool to help create responsibility for their life and take personal responsibility for their actions, give them something to look forward to because most of these kids are at-risk youth, so they're going through a hard time in their life. We also work with special needs. We really don't have to do much. We just have to be there for them and the horses kind of do it for us. So it's really cool to see that.
You see the walls of like their insecurities just fall. You see the transformations. And then we just learn how to do it without the horses. Now we take it to the grocery store. We take it to our jobs. We take it everywhere. You know, we learn a lot of valuable lessons with the horses and through the horses, not only for ourselves, but with the kids. And I gotta say, for me, I have grown tremendously.
I want to say we chose horses, but I don't really know that like we chose horses. I think horses kind of chose us. Horses in this environment are very reflective. They are experts in nonverbal communication. That's a survival mechanism. I think we tend to, when we're dealing with difficult things, to lie to ourselves. Horses will not accept anything but the absolute truth.
Whether it's good or bad, they want honesty. They want honesty.
So horses are a powerful tool for reading people, and they're also very, very calming. Your heartbeat is going to get regulated by theirs. Nobody really realizes that the Heart Math Institute did a huge study on it and proved it scientifically, that it will affect your body. Why horses? Because God created them as just amazing creatures for therapy.
You do more, though, than just work with kids that are in need of some emotional stability or in crisis. What do you hear as feedback from the parents, from kids that have been participating?
So recently we just talked to a parent, better grades, better self-care, self-esteem, higher self-esteem, and leadership.
Yeah, I would say building blocks. If you've ever experienced something that gave you confidence, and that experience gave you more confidence for the next thing that you could attack. It teaches you how to overcome things that are difficult. And there's so many aspects of life today that kids don't get to do that organically. And one of the things that the ranch does when you're talking about the different aspects, there's really 4 modalities, because the horse element is just one piece. What we found was taking care of the horses was a whole another area of community where people were gathering and feeling that they had purpose. And through that, working through challenges. Then we built this whole permaculture area where we were just taking care of this property that turned into a whole nother community. And so as we watched the ranch grow, it really kind of became something that had a life of its own. And the more we took our hands off of it and let it go where it needed to go, it formed Reigning Grace Ranch to what you see today.
Yeah, that's terrific. How did you pick National Bank of Arizona? How did we show up on your radar? Or did we contact you? Did you contact us? What happened?
I contacted you. We had a group of donors that sat on bank boards in Iowa, and they're snowbirds here in the valley. And they said, you guys need to find a local bank. You need to find a local bank to partner with you because there will be some benefit there. And up to that point, we had banked with just, I don't even know what you would call them. So I knew that National Bank of Arizona was fairly close to the ranch. And so I just walked in to the Cave Creek, the Carefree location
Yeah.
on Tom Darlington. I walked in and I said, "Do you guys work with nonprofits?" And she said, "Yes, we do. Let me give you Pam's phone number." And so that was the connection there. And working with Pam has been phenomenal.
Hi.
Hi, Pam. How are you?
Hey, welcome to the ranch. You out here today?
See you. Love the sign.
Yes, thank you. Hopefully you feel that way when you leave. Let's go ahead and take a tour. So as we step in here, the ranch we've actually been on this property for 5 years. As we have campaigns, we build out different areas. We have some spots that are still temporary until we have the funding.
When I first came here and you walk through the gate and something just miraculous happens, it's just so peaceful here. All those worries, all those different things you're thinking about, what do you have to do today? I have to be here at this time. It all goes away.
This is our healing garden. Yeah, it's under construction right now. Everything in our permaculture program at the ranch is about recycling. And so one of the things that we're doing at the ranch that our permaculture team is doing is creating sustainability and trying to infuse our water tables again. And so we are banking the water in these cisterns that come through and forcing the water back down into the ground so that our water table gets replenished. And so this next coming year, our plan is to put 150 fruit trees in with nurse trees. This is Critter Corner. This whole area was donated by one of our amazing volunteers.
Hi, Lula. So my thoughts on this mission, I've not seen one so resourceful, they touch on everything from healing to gardening to, I mean, the list goes on. I just don't have any words. It's just amazing.
This is the William Edward Phipps Cowboy Arena. William Phipps was the voice of Walt Disney's Prince Charming in the original Cinderella. All of the things that we were doing and represented at Raining Grace Ranch had his heart. And so he made a generous gift of $750,000 to Raining Grace Ranch, and we built this covered riding arena. It gave us bathrooms, it gave us a classroom space, and then we also, in honor of him, a World War II, a bronze soldier in our picnic area. Okay, so Pamela, here's all the horses. So our program consists of owner surrenders, rescue horses. We have some horses that are here from Maricopa County Sheriff's Department. It really depends. They all come for different reasons. We currently have 72 horses on property. This is our tack room. So when the kids get here for their sessions, generally go out to the pens, they get their horse, they bring their horse up. They are responsible for grooming their horse, tacking their horse, getting their horse out to the arena. So we teach the kids all of it. It's the relationship development of the horse when you're grooming and picking out their feet, and it's the conversations that are had during that whole process and the struggles that show up that we can talk about. In front of us is our Hope and Healing Barn. That space just over there is going to be a classroom. So we do work with a lot of the vet schools and a lot of the vet techs, and with the kids, we teach the kids how to take vitals, how to hear a heart rate, how to take their temperature, how to measure them. They learn how to work on feet.
Now I see their daily life, it's chaotic. If I can alleviate just one little thing for them and help them, it's nice to know that I can do that. So I'm honored to be their banker.
To have Pam come and to be able to personally give her a tour, first of all, was very special because that's the first time I've had a banker show enough interest in it to learn about what her client does.
It was a great experience to actually have somebody who cared about what we did.
And I think that that's a big piece that's missing in business and in our culture is
Yes.
nobody's invested anymore.
Yes.
So it was huge.
I think it's really important for nonprofit organizations to have a dedicated banker to the organization and that knows a little bit about nonprofit banking and nonprofits in general. It's something you grow with. It's not like a transactional based relationship. It's more about a relationship. I think where National Bank shines, we try to create all these different channels so we can help advocate for the nonprofit to let everybody know that such as Raining Grace Ranch exist. And that's important.
Well, what do you guys see for the future at Reigning Grace Ranch?
Growth.
We're finishing our Hope and Healing barn right now. Earlier you asked how many stalls we had. We will have about 18 stalls, and typically our horses are all turned out in a big pen, but when they go into the Hope and Healing barn, there generally is an opportunity for them to be healing for something. We are starting capital project for a community building at the ranch. And then we want to put in cabins so the kids can come in and stay for a 3-day extended stay weekend.
Okay.
So when we're dealing with we're working with families in crisis at any level or children, that they can come in and be part of the herd.
Yeah.
Be part of the herd and be heard.
That's a neat concept.
And then our permaculture.
And our permaculture program.
Well, okay, so it's not cheap to feed horses. We talked about that earlier. It's also not cheap to feed kids. I suspect that there's something that they're going to want out there. How do you guys get funded?
Right now, we're 100% donation based. And it's quite incredible. We're really blessed. We are a tax credit organization, and that has helped us tremendously. So folks can donate their tax credit dollars to the ranch.
And which
for the
tax
program.
credit program?
It's the
is
Working
that?
Poor.
Working Poor, yeah. I thought it might
So
be that.
400 per person, 800 per couple.
Yeah, wonderful.
And that's how we're funded.
And can folks make donations to
Yeah,
Reigning
they
Grace
go to
Ranch just
the-
directly through their website?
Yep, directly through the website.
What's the web address?
It's www.azrgr.org.
Is there anything else we should know about Reigning Grace Ranch? Anything that we can do as a bank or to help you?
No, I'll tell you what, you're already doing amazing things for us just by helping us the way you help us. But I think as we grow, we're going to come to you with different needs, and I'm convinced you're going to be able to help us. I do think that we need to tell more people about you, though, because I'll tell you, there are a lot of people that are in therapy that are stuck. They just need to come out to Reigning Grace Ranch and get unstuck. And people who are struggling to find good banking partners need to find you. Because, not everybody is doing things the way y'all are doing it.
It's been great getting to know you too. It's been fun. All right, well, thank you very much for coming. It was a pleasure to meet you both.
Hey, so you want to come out and ride horses with us?
Definitely.
I can teach you how to throw a rope.
Riding with you when I was a kid over at
South Mountain.
No, well, I've been
Where everybody is there.
We got a better deal than that.
Well, it'd be awesome. It'd be fun.
Yeah, you take the horse down to the river and done that. Maybe track some of the wild horses?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, man.